Hey friends, welcome to another weekly reading vlog. This is gonna be a short one, so you're not even on a tripod. Might be a little shaky. I haven't read anything. At the end of my last vlog, which was like yesterday, I said that I started Kingdom of Copper. Didn't read any of it. I don't know why I thought that I would tell my brain that, oh, you'll be fine. You'll be reading an entire month of smutty books. You're gonna get out of your slump. You're great. And here we are, not having any desire to read. We love that for me and my 30 book TBR. I don't know what I'll read, but I will update you guys when I have picked something up. Welcome to a new vlog. Hey guys, it is Tuesday morning and I have finished some books since we last talked. I ended up finishing 2 novellas for my Black Author Readathon TBR. I finished I Think I Might Love You by Christina C. Jones, and I didn't rate it because it is a novella. Didn't love it, but I didn't not love it. So I decided not to rate it. It fills a lot of tropes, so it is sort of enemies to lovers, kind of workplace romance, and kind of an age gap. This is the romance between Jacqueline and Caden, and their first chance encounter is that he is subletting her sister's apartment, and after a breakup, she uses the key that she has to her sister's apartment to get into the apartment, and he obviously is staying there, and she punches him in the face. She finds a cat abandoned and takes the cat to the vet clinic that Caden works at. And then through some various events, she ends up volunteering at the clinic. And it goes from there. The reason I say it's a very loose enemies to lovers is because it's more like bad impression to lovers. Enemies would imply a reason to be enemies, and I just don't really feel like there was like a really compelling reason. And the novella is only 130 pages, so like building a true enemies from the jump, like having them meet on page and then trying to build an enemies situation is not gonna happen. Don't go into this novella expecting it to be particularly smutty. I would say of the 130 pages, there's maybe 2.5 pages of sex, but the rest is just really about them building their relationship, and the sex itself isn't like super descriptive. But I enjoyed their relationship. I enjoyed their balance. Overall, it was good. I don't like that there was 2 conflicts because I feel like in 130 pages, it just kind of bogs it down a little bit. And then the other novella that I finished was Uncovered Truths by Alexandria Warren. This is a second chance, and it's about Kendra and Easton. And off page, Kendra was in a time of separation, like they worked together at a law firm or something like that, I think. And they worked together for a couple of years and always kind of like felt this attraction to each other. And then Kendra ends up getting separated. They have a brief romance, and then Kendra ends up breaking it off. And then in the beginning of this novella, they end up bumping into each other at Target, and he's like, hey, I'm having a Super Bowl party, you should come by. And then she does, and they end up getting snowed in, just the 2 of them. And so this meets the second chance. There's also an age gap. It's a novella. That's kind of it. It has the close proximity trope, obviously. And yeah, it's 77 pages. And kind of like I Think I Might Love You, there's definitely more of a focus on the relationship than the sex. Of the 77 pages, I would say maybe 2 to 3 pages are actual sex. And the sex, again, isn't too in detail or too graphic. I mean, they're definitely talking about the body parts, but it's not like pages and pages of sex. But again, I liked their relationship. I think it's cute. And I really like how Easton is very flirty and very like open about his feelings for her. Both of the heroes in both of these novellas are. They're very open with their emotions, and they're very willing to tell the heroine that they want them. And I like that both the hero and the heroine of both novellas play really well off of each other. They both are very short, but the authors did a good job of really laying the groundwork for why they would work in an actual relationship. So yeah, they were great little novellas and I enjoyed them. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to read next. I think at work I am going to start the Kingmaker. But yesterday I was going through my Kindle. I was going through Kindle Unlimited, like the store, and I got recommended this book called Black Witch Magic by Mila Nix. And it seems to be like a witchy school book romance. And so I'm interested. I might read that this month. I might replace The Promised Ones with that one because it's paranormal, which is what The Promised Ones replaces or fits. We will talk then. Okay, so here's the thing. I ended up DNFing The Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan. I got about 30 to 32% of the way in. The writing is great, and I am more than willing to try some other books in the series. My problem is that I get instant lust. I get that, because sometimes you see someone and you just want to bang them. We've been there, we get that, okay? That's cool. My problem is that this was instant love, almost immediately. Basically, the plot of this story is that you are following a Cherokee woman and a CEO of a big oil company's son. And in the beginning of the book, she is 17, he is like in college or something, so there's an age gap. And she is protesting a pipeline that would pollute her tribe's water source, and that's where they first initially meet. 4 years later, she is an adult now, she's in college, she's about to finish her first 4 years, and she goes on spring break with her friends to Amsterdam, where the guy is like living, because he's like going all over the world for climate change, because he has hopes of bringing back more sustainable fuel information and just like ways to be more sustainable and eco-friendly from other places that have just done better than the United States does. So they meet up in Amsterdam and they immediately start a thing. And they kind of have this agreement where it's like both of us have big dreams, him with his eco-friendly thing and her with human rights, specifically like indigenous rights. Immediately they're like in their heads saying that they're in love with each other, which you met for one night 4 years ago and now you have been together for less than a week and you're in love. And then on top of that, about 90% of what I read was just them pushing their beliefs. I 100% agree with everything that's talked about in this book, but I felt like 90% call to action and 10% a romance. And the sex scenes weren't that great, and the romance was just not believable. So altogether, I felt like with these beliefs, like she really believes these things, and then she wrote the book and was like, oh, I need to throw a romance in there to be called a romance book. Like I said, it was well written, and I agreed with everything that she was talking about, but it wasn't a romance. So that's why I DNF'd it, and I don't know what I'm gonna read next. I think I'm probably going to pick up The Promised One, which was the paranormal romance that I was talking about by, I believe it's Tremaine, or I'm gonna pick up the other one that I said might replace it. I don't have a romantic suspense book because that's what Kingmaker was, so I'm gonna have to possibly try to find a replacement for it. I'm going to play some Overwatch. I'm in my partner's room. This is a new background for you because my computer is absolute dog shit and I'm waiting to get a replacement. I'm gonna play some Overwatch and then we'll see what happens. I will update you guys when I have decided on reading something. got a new ferret. Her name is Storm. She is 4 months old and she has so much energy. I spent the majority of my day monitoring play between the ferrets because you just want to make sure that everything goes smoothly and they don't hurt each other. And it seems to be going okay. When I introduced Luna and Axel to each other, they almost immediately clicked, like they were already snuggling in their bed together by like the end of day 1. And it's not going as smooth with Storm. No fights or anything like that, and you saw from clips earlier that within the hour they were like playing with each other and things like that. No fights. So none of that has been going on, but she seems to be energetic. And Axel is very laid back, and Luna has energy, but not quite that level. And she didn't stop running for like 2 hours, which is not entirely uncommon for ferrets. Ferrets sleep 16 hours a day. And so they have, you know, a couple of hours of energy and then they just sleep. I'm used to that. But she ran for like 2 hours straight, didn't stop. She slept for like 2 hours and then got up, ran around again, and now she's finally asleep. Like they're all asleep right now. But she just wanted to play by herself. And anytime Luna she seemed to be okay with Axel, but anytime Luna would like try to play ball with her or anything like that, because she's obsessed with like these, you know, like the plastic playpin balls. We have a playpin bouncy house thingy in their room. She didn't want to play with Luna, which made me a little bit sad because Luna kept trying to play with her and she wouldn't, but it's a work in progress. They don't bond, you know, like that. We'll just spend the next couple of days getting her settled and seeing how she does, training her to use the litter area and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So work in progress. That is the update on that. And I have been reading a smidgen. So I ended up picking up Black Witch Magic that I was telling you guys about, the paranormal romance, and I was under the impression that it was like a paranormal, like magical society, but it really isn't. So it's about Celine and Aiden, and Celine is a witch and she comes from a magical line that was cursed. We haven't really gotten a lot of information into what the curse is yet, but it seems to be something along the lines of like they're stuck in this town, they can't leave. I don't know much beyond that. And then they're supposed to be like, love is supposed to break the curse, I think. So she's just living in the town. She's a librarian, and Aiden is a paranormal investigator. Like he has like a YouTube channel where him and his friends investigate paranormal stuff. I am 37% of the way through. It's okay. I'm enjoying the writing. It's an easy read, but I just haven't really been in the mood to read. So it's been hard for me to get my mind to focus. I have been working myself into a tizzy about the ferret and wanting them to bond, and then being concerned about Axel because he doesn't have a whole lot of energy most of the time. Like he will run for a couple hours and then he wants to sleep, which is normal for a ferret, but ferrets themselves have a lot of health issues because especially the breeders in the US, there's not a lot of like genetic variation, which can lead to a lot of health issues, and the health issues start around like the 3 to 4 year old age, but like tumors, cancers, things like that are super prevalent in ferrets. They can essentially have like insulin issues and things like that, so I'm just always very cautious and worried about their health. None of them are 3 or like in the age range where a lot of issues start popping up, but I always want to be cautious. And yeah, so I was just stressing myself about Axel not being as energetic and trying to, I guess because like I was putting him against Storm, who's like 12 weeks old, and ferrets start kind of calming down and at about a year, which is how old Axel is, and they kind of like get into their groove of like their regular personality and all that. And so I was comparing him to a literal baby ferret, and that was just stressing me out when it really shouldn't have been, because he's such a good boy. He eats, he poops, he sleeps, he's active, like he does everything that he needs to do, but he's just my baby boy and I stress about him and all that. So anyways, I need to stop talking about it. I'm going to get back into this book. Did I say it's Friday already? I've just been so bad at vlogging lately because I haven't wanted to read, which is so bad because my whole month is romances. Yeah, I'm gonna get back into reading and we'll talk later. So, sorry for the rambling. I am 59% of the way through Black Witch Magic, and the author keeps recapping scenes from the chapter we just read. Okay, if things look different, it's because I had to cut and do something else. It's a couple minutes later. But I was saying with Black Witch Magic, let me read you my review because I really feel like more concisely talks about what my problems were than my mind can really process right now. So I said, a cute small town romance with some witchy vibes. I loved Celine as a character. The introverted librarian is a soft spot for me. Aiden's character was also cute and nerdy while incorporating a lot of things that come with that personality, like difficulty in social situations. These things were part of his personality and totally okay. My problems lie in the writing. There were several times where we opened a chapter with a recap of the chapter we just read. The plot lines with Eddie's family felt off and a little pointless. It didn't create clues or suspicions. And there were several plot versus romance issues in that I felt like the plot heavily outweighed the romantic scenes, and the scenes we got were disjointed in an odd choice to showcase. Lastly, the wording for the sex scenes were not sexy. Fat mushroom tip as a shining example, and referring to Aiden's sexual thoughts as caveman, as if you can't be intelligent and have a libido. I did start When Love Ignites by Rosie Adams, and this appears to be a workplace enemies to lovers romance between Alec and Jasmine. This is part of Rosie Adams' Love Like a Johnson or something like that series. This is the 5th book, but I'm pretty sure you can read everything, like you can read them as standalones. You'll just be spoiled for like couples that are in previous books. So this is about Jasmine, who's part of the Johnson family, and they own this. Jasmine is from a wealthy family, and she appears, you know, very well-to-do, has very nice clothing, and Alec kind of feels like she's entitled and spoiled and that she didn't really earn her place at the law firm. And he feels like a lot of the things that Jasmine has, including a scholarship that she got, make her sort of a bad person. He feels like she didn't really deserve that scholarship because she didn't need the money. They end up getting paired together for a work assignment on this case, and they end up having to work together, like I just said. And I'm about 10% of the way in, and like they're kind of already getting into like more of the tension, whereas the enemies part is kind of falling off a little bit, just because they've like kind of come to an understanding about where each other is and the sort of person that each other is, getting rid of like the preconceived notions that they had. And yeah, we're getting some backstory into Jasmine's family and some drama there, and really that's it. This is the first full-length novel I've read by Rosie Adams. I really love her writing. I think she does a fantastic job of, 1, building believable characters, and 2, building tension between characters. So I'm really excited to read a little bit more of this and get more of a feeling for it. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot going on today. The ferrets are up and probably is gonna sleep for the rest of the night because they had a lot of time out. So yeah, I don't really have any other big plans. My partner and I might watch a movie, but other than that, I'm gonna try to read some, probably watch some Twitch, and yeah, we will talk when I'm a little bit further into the book, and we'll see what's going on. It is still Saturday night, and I have finished When Love Ignites by Rosie Adams, and I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. So I don't quite remember how much I talked about what this is about, but it follows Alec and Jasmine. I know I talked about how she works for her family's law firm and he is a co-worker, and they get assigned to a case. And the case was a murder investigation, and they are defending the accused. They pretty quickly get over their enemies situation and move into an actual relationship, I would say about like 25% of the way through. So it doesn't take that long, but the majority of the book I feel like focuses on the actual plot because they are together quickly. There really is like one conflict about their relationship and then one about the actual wrap up of the plot. But I really enjoyed it. It had the typical like Rilsey Adams writing, where she, you know, writes believable characters, believable tension. It did drag a little bit in the middle just because like they were already together by the 25% mark, so it's a little hard to like see where the story is going. But I liked the inclusion of like the little murder mystery. I didn't give it 5 stars just because I didn't really feel like it was the strongest romance, which is what I'm reading it for. So that's that. I don't know what I'm gonna read next, but it is pretty late, so I'll probably just watch some YouTube videos until I fall asleep. And then we will talk tomorrow when I have picked something up. Hey guys, it is Sunday afternoon and it is time to wrap up this reading vlog. I ended up reading or starting Rafe, I'm gonna go with Rafe, by Rebecca Witherspoon. And this is a romance between a woman and her nanny. It's really good. I'm only like I'm almost 50% of the way through. I'm 47% of the way in and I'm obsessed. I have read her Beards and Bondage series and I really liked it, but like this is on another level. This is so good and I'm just so excited to get into it. That is it. I have decided that I'm not gonna do like a wrap up of my week at the end of my vlogs because my vlogs are not like hours long. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope you liked it. Make sure you comment down below your thoughts on any of the books that I read this week or anything that you read this week. I would love to hear it. But other than that, I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks so much.